live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Melinda Akilami.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, Benue State Governor Bala Mohammed is extending an olive branch to former LP presidential candidate Peter Obi, asking him to return to the PDP. The police again defend decision to arrest human rights activist Shore, citing allegations of forgery, cyber stalking, and other offences. Experts express concern over unregulated mining activities in Zamfara State, warn of a potential resurgence in lead poisoning. An independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, asked political parties and their candidates to adhere strictly to the law guiding electioneering campaigns. On sports news tonight, Liverpool boss Arne Slot relishes the rare chance to lift silverware in his side's first game of the season as the Premier League champions face FA Cup winners Crystal Palace in Sunday's Community Shield.
And on business, Nigeria's foreign exchange reserves hits an 8-month high at over $40 billion as it sustains accretion for a fifth consecutive week.
The former Labour Party presidential candidate, Mr. Peter Obi, has been asked to consider returning to the People's Democratic Party, PDP. This suggestion was raised by the Benue State Governor, Bala Mohammed, during a courtesy visit by Mr. Peter Obi to the state government house, where he advocated for a single 5-year tenure for public office holders. Our correspondent, Hajara Aliu, has this report.
The 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, is in Benue State on a private visit to educational institutions. He awards scholarships worth 15 million naira to students of a nursing college and an Islamia school.
I'm going to be your partner in this project. Today, I want to start with the initial support of 10 million naira. Today to support, today to ensure that we support this school.
He also held an interactive session with students of the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University Bauchi, where he fielded questions on governance and national development. After these engagements, Mr. Obi proceeds to the government house, where he met Governor Mohammed. Addressing journalists, Governor Mohammed emphasizes the need for a stronger united political front to challenge the current administration.
This ADC, PDP, NNPP and the rest must come together if we will unseat the present administration that is not doing well. We have to come together. And we don't hate even the present administration. We wish they would do better. But as I discussed with you, there is no budget. There is no plan.
Mr. Obi echoed similar sentiments, and when asked about his proposed one term, he reiterates his position and shares additional governance reform ideas.
If I have opportunity, we should stop having second tenure for president. It should be 5 years. That's what it is in South Korea. So people come in and know they have a job to do.
Governor Mohammed used the opportunity to openly invite Mr. Obi to join the People's Democratic Party.
I told you we want you to come back to PDP. And that's what I must say. So please come back. That's where you belong. Don't go to anywhere where there's disarray, but you have taught me that this is about coming together, closing rank.
Journalists demanded a response to the invitation, and he remarked,
"No, I'm asking if you would consider joining the PDP since..."
No, remember what we said, that we are working together. So we're not separate. Is it that it's separating us, though?
With meetings like this, future collaboration is certainly not out of the question. Hajar Ali, Channels Television News.
Then with politics, Governor Emmanuel Aquolo says President Bola Tinubu has shown a lot of goodwill towards Edo State, and the 2027 general elections will be the perfect opportunity for the people to show gratitude by giving him at least 2.5 million votes. Mr. Aquolo believes that the upcoming National Assembly by-election will serve as a test run for the All Progressives Congress, APC, to show its dominance in Edo State. He made the comments at the APC senatorial campaign rally in Esan Northeast local government area.
APC! APC! This one is a done deal. The one that I want to tell you that we continue to live with you till 2027. We have agreed that in Edo State, 2.5 million votes for our president. He's a man that has been supporting me. Yes. He takes me as a son. Yes. For that reason, he took that door as his home. Yes. For that reason, I know people must support him. Yes. For having 2.5 million. We are using this election to test the microphone. So I want to thank our people.
Benue State, the Speaker of the House of Assembly has advocated the use of paperless operations within assemblies across the nation following the launch of the e-Parliament digital platform for House proceedings in the state. He made the remark in a meeting with the Benue State Digital Infrastructure Company, where the Managing Director, Mr. Adamawa State, explained that projects provide an opportunity for the public to engage with lawmakers seamlessly.
So this is not accepted.
Members of the Benue State House of Assembly, led by the Speaker, Mr. Amdona Dajo, arrived the venue of the launch of the Benue e-Parliament platform. The project is the first for any state legislature, transiting from paper operations to paperless plenary and open governance system.
Benue Assembly will go live and digital. It is our firm belief that after today, other states in Nigeria would want to take a cue from here. The essence of this is to have inclusive governance and have the people to participate real time in the process of legislation, because essentially we are here to represent the people. It is our belief that this would drive inclusiveness, trust among the people, and open governance system.
Speaking on the gains of the launch, the Benue State government says it will provide real-time inclusiveness to participating in lawmaking as the Speaker advocates its replication nationwide.
With this platform today, public hearing can be done virtually. If a Benue is in US, is in UK, and you actually want to participate, the platform has been integrated. If you want to send any communication with the Assembly, be it a committee or the whole Assembly, you can log on the platform, create an account and do that.
After launching the project, which requires infrastructural support at the Assembly chamber, the Speaker says all is now set for the facility to host the project.
The issue of the chamber, the contractor, to the best of our knowledge, has been paid 50%. And he also assured me that by next week, the chairs in the chambers will be in the country. They're importing them from Turkey, and the next 4 weeks, the chamber will be ready. So we wait. As soon as the chamber is ready, we're also ready to take off. It will work, because if we go to every village, even in our villages, people, at least in every home, you must find somebody with an Android phone.
This move is considered a part of the Benue State government's approach to embracing transparency in governance.
The next general election is in 2027, yet the election fever is already in the air, with politicians and their supporters engaging in what the electoral umpire has described as premature campaigns. The electoral laws provide that campaigns for elections can only begin 150 days before D-Days and must end 24 hours before voting day. Our next report is against the backdrop of the increasing early campaigns for the 2027 general election and its implications on governance.
Nigeria runs a general election cycle of 4 years, and since the last election was in 2023, the next will be in 2027. Although the next general election is well over 18 months away, the political atmosphere is gradually getting charged, with politicians realigning and political parties galvanizing ahead of the next election season. Some of these activities have recently manifested in forms of coalitions, National Executive Committee meetings, and change of party leadership, just to reposition for the next election. However, some politicians and their supporters have also been engaging in what the Independent National Electoral Commission describes as premature campaigns, which it warns politicians to guard against.
As we speak, INEC does not have a list of candidates nominated for the 2027 general election. So, on what basis will you be campaigning for one individual or the other? So, we try to caution Nigerians who are engaged in that, although it's like a veil. They don't say it directly, but we have heard and seen certain posters in certain places, and we feel that it is not yet time for it. Section 95 talks about 150 days, not campaigning for 150 days before the election. And then there's another section that talks about that says that campaign shall be carried out according to the regulations of INEC. So you have those two sections of the Electoral Act. It means that before 150 days, you should not engage in campaign. And we are drawing the attention to that please, you can have your conversation. It is within the right of Nigerians to discuss issues, but don't go beyond discussion. Don't begin to campaign for one individual for one office, because we don't even have the list of candidates yet.
Nigeria's Electoral Act 2022 made adequate provisions for political campaigns with clear timelines. Sections 94 and 95 of the Act provides, among others, that election campaigns shall commence 150 days before polling day and end 24 hours prior to the election day. The Act also provides that a candidate or the political party shall campaign for the elections in accordance with regulations as may be determined by INEC.
As far as the Electoral Act,
Human rights lawyer Mr. Femi Falana, who featured on our political program Politics Today, describes the recent actions of politicians ahead of the 2027 general election as illegal.
As far as the Electoral Act of Nigeria, Electoral 2022 is concerned, the ongoing electioneering campaign is illegal, totally illegal. It's also diversionary. Because what Nigerians expect now, what the law provides for, is governance of the country without distraction.
Beyond the legal implications, a political analyst describes it as destructive and undemocratic.
A situation in which 2 years before a general election, both the ruling party and the opposition party have now pivoted not to discuss core and fundamental issues of governance, but to discuss electioneering. It takes away that core element of democratic accountability. What they are doing in essence is devaluing what I describe as the utilitarian concept of democracy.
Nigeria hopes to go to the polls in 2027 to elect a president, governors, national and state assembly members for a 4-year term. Many citizens want is for those in power to focus now on governance, while the opposition parties prioritize constructive opposition that checkmates the policies and powers of incumbency.
In part two, after the break, the police again defends decision to arrest human rights activists Showore, citing allegations of forgery, cyber stalking, and other offenses. That's in a moment. You stay with us. Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television. A reminder of our top stories. Benue State Governor Bala Mohammed is extending an olive branch to former LP presidential candidate Peter Obi, asked him to return to the PDP. The police again defend decision to arrest human rights activist Owore, citing allegations of forgery, cyber stalking, and other offences. Experts express concern over unregulated mining activities in Zamfara State, warn of a potential resurgence in lead poisoning. And the Independent National Electoral Commission has warned political parties and their candidates to adhere strictly to the law guiding electioneering campaigns. In Lagos State, the newly elected chairman and their deputies have been asked to unite and deliver good governance to the people. The governor, who was represented by his deputy, Kadri Hamzat, gave this directive at a retreat organized for newly elected local government chairmen. He explained that the retreat was to equip the council bosses with necessary information and knowledge on the intricacies and guidelines for local government administration, as well as public sector ethics.
The newly sworn-in chairmen of local government and local council development areas are participating in this retreat on the guidelines and ethics of local government administration. The retreat, organized by the State Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy Affairs and Rural Development, is to prepare them for the leadership role bestowed upon them.
It is imperative to acknowledge the foresight of Mr. Governor for endorsing this initiative, a strategic move to ensure a seamless transition into your new roles and to position you for efficient and impactful leadership through your tenure. In the course of this retreat, you will be exposed to critical areas of public finance, project implementation, people-centered governance, and the policy direction of this administration.
Some of those who already have leadership experience urge the chairman to focus on issues that will impact lives at the grassroots level.
Our job in the Local Government Service Commission is to manage human resource. And that human resource is going to work in harmonious relationship with the chairmen of various local governments in order to achieve a remarkable result. We have been looking forward for this. Thank God that it's happening today.
Everyone who is here is fully aware of the task ahead. And we believe that being the closest to the people, our role is very, very critical and crucial, to the survival of democracy, to the Greater Lagos project. And we want to assure you that we are battle ready to deliver.
The state deputy governor says their victory at the polls is a call to service and they must be ready to deliver on the job.
There's an assumption that the moment you are a political office holder in this land, you are a thief. So our chairman and ahead of us is very urgent. And the expectation of our people are so high, you will never satisfy them. Forget it. The challenges facing our communities are real, from waste management, local road maintenance, public health services. Don't engage in psychedelic projects. Let's uplift our people. So we in Lagos,
the people at the grassroots will look up to the 57 local government chairmen and expect them to be accountable for their duties.
The police has defended the arrests of human rights activist Omoyele Sowore, citing allegations of forgeries, cyber stalking, and other offences, while dismissing claims of torture while in custody. A statement signed by the Force Public Relations Officer, Muyiwa Adejobi, said Mr. Sowore's detention was lawful and carried out in full compliance with extant legal provisions. It adds that the activist was arrested based on credible, corroborated allegations involving criminal offenses and was released on bail well within the 48-hour constitutional window. The statement rejected reports that Mr. Sowore was tortured, insisting that the police maintains a zero-tolerance policy for torture in line with international human rights obligations. However, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Betogun, has ordered an internal investigation into how Mr. Sowore assessed the bandage while in custody, especially after allegedly declining medical examinations twice offered by independent police medical teams. In Plateau State, fresh violence has erupted in Boko's local government area as armed men launched a deadly overnight attack on the Nak community, leaving at least 2 people dead and properties destroyed. The assault, which began around midnight and lasted until 4:30 a.m., reportedly saw the attackers wielding sophisticated weapons that overpowered local vigilante. The barrister chairman of the Boko's Cultural Development Forum, BCDF, told Channels Television that several homes were set ablaze, farms were destroyed, while livestock were stolen, alongside stored foodstuff. He lamented that a security checkpoint located less than a kilometer away from the scene, but the officials did not respond on time. The community has called on both the federal and state governments to urgently intervene and bring the perpetrators to justice. Mining marshals have arrested 13 suspects and shot down an illegal site in Kuje Area Council of the nation's capital, Abuja. This was disclosed in a statement by the commander of the mining marshals, Assistant Commandant of Corps Ata Onoja. According to the commander, the suspects were allegedly found to be working for a company which had occupied and exploited the lease belonging to another licensed mining company for over 6 months without legal backing. Mr. Onoja stated that the 13 suspects are in custody and will be arraigned in court in the coming days. The mining marshals are a tactical team carved out of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, operating under the Ministry of Solid Mineral Development to curb illegal mining in the country. Meanwhile, unregulated mining activities in Zamfara State have raised concerns about the possibility of a resurgence in lead poisoning 15 years after a deadly incident that claimed over 400 lives. Speaking at the maiden seminar of the Center for Environmental Research and Sustainability of the Federal University of Gusau, stakeholders urged the federal government to take urgent action in regulating mining operations. Health crisis. The seminar ignited critical conversations around environmental safety and the long-term impact of illegal mining.
The Zamfara lead poison outbreak, which occurred in 2010, remains one of the worst environmental disasters in Nigeria's history. It was primarily caused by unsafe artisanal gold mining practices and claimed 400 children, while thousands suffered from long-term neurological and developmental challenge. 15 years after, experts are repeat itself unless urgent regulatory measures are taken. The Federal University Gusau is at the forefront of the advocacy, using academic platforms to warn of the reoccurring dangers of illegal mining.
The center, looking at not just heavy metals, is also looking at the wider problem of mining. What are the threshold values of heavy metals in our soil? What are the threshold values in the water we take? What is the exposure frequency that our people are subjected to? How can we help our people maximize the benefits from their solid natural resources?
The Vice Chancellor of the university presented the keynote address, and he highlights the impact of illegal mining, stressing safe mining framework.
Mining activities in Zamfara State was unauthorized, unsafe, unregulated, turning what should have been an economical opportunity into a public health disaster. That's what we are doing. The whole place, the whole community turned to a disaster zone. You go and see how they are living. Despite even trying to go and do the illegal mining to eat, if you see how they are living, you will sympathize with them.
He warned that without urgent government action, the tragedy of 2010 may not be the last.
This illegal mining is here to stay because people cannot stop it. If you want them to stop it, then give them alternative of life survival. They have to find a way of living. Then they can stop illegal mining. And illegal mining will continue. The best way is to actually have a control.
The resolution at this meeting is for stronger collaboration amongst agencies, enforcement of mining laws, and community sensitization to prevent future environmental and health disasters.
3.4 million people are expected to benefit from the World Bank-sponsored Agroclimatic Resilience in Semi-Arid Landscape AgriSal project across northern Nigeria. The national coordinator of the project, Mr. Abdul Hamid Umar, made this revelation at a stakeholders' engagement on strategic catchment management plan in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital. He adds that 1.68 million of the expected beneficiaries are women.
It's a stakeholders' engagement on a strategic management plan for the 19 northern states and the Federal Capital Territory on how to make maximum use of dry lands. The session is focused on formulation of catchment strategies for 5 major river basins, including Malenda, Kaduna Maigari, Guraragbaku, Oshinoyi, and Sarikin-Powa Kaduna. The strategy is a part of a broader initiative to develop 20 strategic catchment plans to improve water governance, enhance environmental resilience, and promote sustainable livelihoods in semi-arid regions of Nigeria.
It is a 6-year project that promotes sustainable landscape management practices in targeted watersheds and strengthens Nigeria's framework for integrated climate resilient output under component A of the AgriSal project.
You have 1 or 2 things to contribute to what is going to form that strategic document that aims at sustainably putting all our land and water resources in a way that will be beneficial, not just for today's generation, but for generations that are yet unborn.
The project, funded by the World Bank and implemented in collaboration with federal and state governments, is designed to combat land degradation, conserve water resources, restore degraded ecosystems, and boost livelihoods in Nigeria's climate-vulnerable northern region.
Your presence here underscores the regional significance of catchment governance and our shared responsibility in safeguarding water bodies and ecosystem for future generations. Water catchments are lifelines of our communities, economies, and ecosystems. The SCMP offers us a platform to reflect, collaborate, and chart a strategic course towards integrated and inclusive catchment management that reflects the needs and aspirations of our people.
This is the first time the federal government will be developing a catchment management plan of such magnitude, and is expected to impact millions of lives across northern Nigeria.
It is important to note that AgriSal is strategically using an integrated climate management approach and leveraging the use of state-of-the-art disruptive technology in accounting for, monitoring, and evaluating the activities of AgriSal.
The strategic catchment management plan is expected to enable the integration of social and economic needs with natural ecosystems and the long-term use of natural resources.
The Adamawa State government has leveraged on the federal government's maternal and neonatal mortality reduction initiative to reduce the high mortality rate amongst pregnant women. The Commissioner for Health and Human Services, Mr. Felix Sanwami, stated this while declaring open a 4-day implementation design workshop holding in Yola, the state capital. They said the state government has trained over 600 personnel for maternal health care to ensure effective delivery of services to pregnant women, especially in rural communities.
The Adamawa State Ministry of Health is convening this meeting to curb the high mortality rate during childbearing in the state. According to the state government, maternal mortality currently stands at 55%. It stood at 30% as at 2023. 9 local government areas bear the highest burden in Adamawa State. Beyond the state, the Federal Ministry of Health puts maternal mortality in Nigeria at over 50% in 172 local government areas across 33 states of the country. The critical stakeholders at this meeting include representatives of the Federal Ministry of Health, the Federal Health Implementation Agencies, and the Adamawa State Ministry of Health. The figures are disturbing for the state, and the government is leveraging the federal government's maternal and neonatal mortality reduction innovation initiative to address the challenge.
On behalf of Adamawa State government, I want to thank the Federal Minister of Health for initiating this good program. Let me also tell the representatives from the national agencies that Adamawa State government is committed to giving good health care. Everybody is aware that we have built a lot of facilities at the community levels. For now, no local government is without a secondary healthcare facility.
One and foremost is the adoption of the maternal midwife schemes, whereby 339 community midwives and nurses were recruited across the state to provide more care to these women and their under 5 children.
Everything government is doing, traditional institutions, anytime, especially a program like this, anything health, we don't play with it. We give our support and energy whenever the need arises.
The federal government is also promising to provide the necessary support to ensure the implementation of the program.
So basically, we are here to understand the drivers of maternal mortality in Adamawa State and design context-specific interventions that will address those issues so that in the end of the day, we can be able to crash maternal and neonatal mortality in the state.
Participants rounded up the meeting with a field trip for practical studies and analysis in some selected communities.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Nigeria's foreign exchange reserves hit 8-month high at over $40 billion as it sustained accretion for 5th consecutive week. That's on Business News. Do join us again. Welcome back. 4 new water schemes have been added to the list of projects handed over to communities in Ogoniland by the Hydrocarbon Pollution Remediation Project, HYPREP. With this, more communities can now have access to clean, potable water under the ongoing Ogoni Cleanup Project. The commissioning and handover of the new water scheme was done by the Minister of Environment. Our correspondent, Deborah Agbalama, has more in this report.
It's another round of commissioning of water schemes by the Hydrocarbon Pollution Remediation Project, HYPREP, and what has become a steady rollout over the last 2 years. This time, 4 new water facilities were inaugurated across different local government areas in Ogoniland: Bodo in Gukana, Eteo in Eleme, and Ngwerubwe and Taba in Kana local government area. These commissionings bring the water projects executed so far to 11. The Minister of Environment, who directly supervises HYPREP's activities, is on ground to inaugurate the project.
Oh, he's not here.
Earlier, at a brief reception, the minister highlighted several ongoing and completed interventions under the Ogoni cleanup aimed at restoring the environment and livelihood of the people.
This commission underscores our shared dedication to health, dignity, and well-being for our people. This project goes beyond infrastructure. The RCM group of hope, equity, and justice for communities that have long been enduring the consequences of environmental degradation. The collaboration of this project is testament to what we can achieve through collaboration and collective resolve. So this project are collaboration between the Angolan people, mainly the federal government, as well as Renaissance now. So Renaissance is very key to what we are doing today. So I commend Hybrid for implementing these issues and for trying to safeguard and protect the partnership that builds this project.
For HYPREP project coordinator Professor Nene Barani Zabe, the newly commissioned facilities increase the number of Ogoni communities with reticulated potable water to 40.
As of today, the ongoing Phase 1 shoreline cleanup and mangrove restoration projects are 57.7% and 93% complete, respectively. To emphasize that our multi-species mangrove restoration efforts are economically sound and will promote biodiversity recovery and fisheries enhancement. We have started taking steps to seek the destination of restored mangroves in Ogoni land as a Ramsar site. Therefore, as part of a broader conservation strategy, we are scaling up the distribution of clean foodstuffs to mangrove wood users to reduce pressure on the region's mangrove.
The entourage also commissioned HYPREP's newest branch office at BOM in Gukana local government area. Present at the events are representatives of Renaissance Africa Energy, traditional rulers, stakeholders, as well as both current and former government officials. Alongside the Minister of Environment, they were shown round one of HYPREP's flagship projects, the Center of Excellence for Environmental Restoration, by the project coordinator at the end of the inauguration exercise. Deborah Abalama, Channels Television News.
The need to revive the country's textile industry and create jobs for the people is crucial. This is according to the Minister of State for Industry, Mr. John Onwa, at an engagement with players from the subsector to discuss ways to boost the moribund industry. The gathering was also an opportunity to discuss the current state of the sector, possible interventions, investment, collaboration, as well as the way forward. The minister decried the huge job losses as a result of the challenges and lack of support for the industry.
Our textile facilities shouldn't be lying idle. No reason. You go to UNTL, the Korudu, and you see, what should be the pride of Nigeria's industrial powerhouse? You see it lying fallow. Nothing is operating. And yet you are told that the machines and the machinery can still function. There's no excuse why something shouldn't happen. You mustn't wait for government. While government, yes, knows there's a responsibility, and I take it from here, government must continue to play its role. Government must provide support. There's so many things that have been said here. Speaker after speaker, I took notes like a student. These notes will guide what further actions that we take. But let's work together and get this sector right. Believe me that getting it right provides so much job opportunities.
Governors must be transparent with the allocations received from the federal government. That's according to a former federal lawmaker, Honorable Sam Onigbo, speaking during the 2025 Southeast Zonal Management Summit organized by the Nigerian Institute of Management in Umuahia, Abia State. He urged the governors and council chairmen to demonstrate full transparency in the management and utilization of substantial funds for the benefit of the masses.
The umbrella body of the Nigerian Institute of Management, chartered, led by its national president, Commodore Abimbola Ayuba, is in Umuahia, the Abia State capital, as part of activities lined up for the 2025 Southeast Zonal Management Summit. which brings together key stakeholders from government, industry, academia, and traditional institutions to explore strategies for navigating Nigeria's economic environment to achieve sustainable corporate and economic growth. The rector of Ogbonnaya Onu Polytechnic, Okoro highlights the importance of artificial intelligence, describing a necessity for survival and growth of a developing country like Nigeria.
At this point, we should know that AI is not luxury for advanced economies. It is necessity for survival and growth, even more so for developing countries like ours, Nigeria, if properly harnessed. If we don't harness it, if we don't put it in proper use, AI will also destroy our economy. AI can transform Nigeria from a resource-dependent economy to a knowledge-driven, innovative-led society.
On his part, National President of the NIM, Commodore Abimbola Ayuba, warns that as much as artificial intelligence is real, it should be approached with caution.
The capstone theme for the year, the Institute is concerned with how technology will impact on management, the future of work. And these have been things that we have been looking at. We are concerned because in an era where artificial intelligence is taking the center stage, the more and more loss of jobs will happen. So what are the reliefs? What are the safety valves that are available to protect the workforce, the civil service as we have today? So these are key issues that we should be ruminating in our mind.
A federal lawmaker, Sam Onwebo, charged to governors at the subnational level to demonstrate transparency and ensure the people they lead enjoy better living conditions, just as he urges younger Nigerians to embrace artificial intelligence as a new normal.
All we have to pray, in fact ask for, is for a lot of transparency on the side of those who are in leadership. The governors are getting money, more than 3 times of what they got when I was Commissioner for Finance. The local government is also getting money as a result of the removal of subsidy. So it is up to us now to hold these people to account and make sure that they support Mr. President in trying to move the economy in the direction that Mr. President is driving it.
The event attracted NIM stakeholders across the Southeast and featured presentations, exhibitions, award presentations, and expert discussions on innovations and best practices in management practice.
Let's find out what's happening in the world of business. Ladi Williams has the details.
Thanks, Melinda. Well, in business, Nigeria's gross foreign exchange reserves has hit an 8-month high at $40.15 billion. That's at August the 7th, sustaining accretion for a 5th consecutive week with $800.51 million increase week on week. The increase in the country's external buffers comes amid central bank's intervention in the FX market with a sale of $150 million to banks in its continued effort to defend the naira. Speaking of the local currency, it ended the week lower by 1% week on week at 1,535 naira against the dollar, as FX demand slightly surpassed supply from foreign portfolio investors looking to participate in the open market operation primary market auction. Meanwhile, currency traders say they remain optimistic about the naira due to expectations of sustained liquidity as elevated yields, especially in the OMO market, and a softer US dollar are likely to continue to attract foreign portfolio inflows into the FX market in the near term. Meanwhile, at the foreign exchange market, transactions on the FMDQ exchange ended the week positive as the total turnover climbed by $51.01 million to $1.31 billion as of August the 8th, 2025. The increase, which is solely attributed to activities on the FX spot market, represented 4.03% growth from $1.26 billion reported at the end of last week. Meanwhile, no activity was recorded in the FX derivatives market this week. And Nigeria's real estate sector is set for a major shakeup as the newly enacted Nigeria Insurance Industry Reform Act 2025 embeds insurance into every phase of property development, from construction to ownership and long-term management. I had a chat earlier with Mrs. Akioma Ezebe, Deputy President, Nigerian Council of Registered Insurance Brokers on Capital Market Today, where she projects that the new legislation will unlock growth avenues and enhance investor confidence across the sector. Take a listen.
The reason that insurance companies opened up in the first place, what they are selling is, if something happens to you, I will pay the claims. Don't forget that an insurance broker, what an insurance broker is selling to the client is hope that when a claim occurs, he will get compensated. All of these compulsory insurances, they are made compulsory because they are made for the benefit of third parties. And these are liability insurances. And these will take care of the duty of care of any operator. Like you mentioned, the developers. When you're building a place, you have to have an insurance that will cover third parties that would be within that place. If you don't have adequate insurance cover, no insurance cover at all, and something happens, it could be a third party, it could be property damage of a third party, it could be bodily injury of a third party, it could even be death. It then means you are on your own. You have to pay all the compensation. And liabilities, could really be stiff. They could wipe away operations of anyone. That is why taking care of liabilities by insurance is even far, far more important than your own material damage. That is the one of the insured himself.
And now to tech matters. Global smartphone identity app Truecaller has reached 100 million monthly active Android and iOS users in Africa and the Middle East region this month, with Nigeria among the top markets. The global platform for verifying contacts and blocking says the figure, covering both Android and iOS users, represented 19% year-on-year growth, with Nigeria listed among its largest markets in the Middle East and African region, alongside Egypt, South Africa, Kenya, Algeria, Ghana, and Jordan. Truecaller CEO Rashid Dishwala attributes the strong performance to rising smartphone adoption and mobile data access from the MEA region. Truecaller, which was launched in 2009, has been downloaded more than 1 billion times globally and serves over 450 million active users worldwide. And to the markets now. The domestic equities market extended its bullish momentum for the 11th consecutive week, driven by sustained bargain hunting and a strong positive reaction to the enactment of the Insurance Industry Reform Act. The result, the all-share index and the equities capitalization surged by 3.18% to close the week at 145,754 and 92.21 trillion naira accordingly. Sectoral performance was broadly positive as the insurance, industrial goods, consumer goods, and the oil and gas indices advanced, while the banking index was the sole loser of the week. Mutual benefits assurances topped a list of 66 gainers within the week, with a 60.44 percentage point increase, and its share price. Living Trust Mortgage Bank led 40 other decliners with a 24.13% loss, while the trio of Linkage Assurance, Consolidated Hallmark Holdings, and Universal Insurance were the top contributors to a total of 8.73 billion shares traded this week. And for the NASD OTC Securities Exchange, it closed the week, that's for the 8th, on a bearish note, as the NASD Securities Index fell by 1.26% to 3,655.10 points, with market capitalization dipping about 0.03 trillion to 2.14 trillion naira. Despite the overall decline, trading activity surged. Total volume jumped about 351% to 27.2 million units, while value traded rose 23.57% to 161.9 million naira. Industrial and General Insurance PLC led the gainers with a 22.86% rise, while Central Securities Clearing System PLC topped the losers chart, shedding 7.76%. And that's it from me in business. Back to Mel with the rest of the news at 10.
Many thanks, Adi. Condolence messages have been pouring in for the former Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Mr. Audube, who died today at the age of 78. President Bola Tinubu has described the death of the former minister as painful, saying the place of the patriot and firm believer in democracy will be hard to fill. In a statement released today, President Tinubu expressed his sympathies to the government and people of Benue State and acknowledged Chief Ogbe's intellectual contributions to policy formulation and his articulation of practical solutions to complex national challenges. The president said the astute public servant was a patriot whose wisdom, dedication, and pursuit of progress left an indelible mark in the country's political landscape. In the world of sports, Nigerian champions Remo Stars will begin their campaign at this season's African Champions League campaign against US Zimaju of Comoros in the preliminary round. Victory for Remo Stars over 2 legs will set up a daunting second-round clash against continental heavyweight Mamelodi Sundowns of South Africa. While Remo Stars know their path, another Nigerian side, Rivers United, must wait for the conclusion of DR Congo's league to know their opponents. Should Rivers United progress, they will face either AC Leopards of Congo-Brazzaville or Black Bulls of Mozambique in the African Confederation Cup. Kwara United will face Ghana's Asante Kotoko, while Abia Warriors will play Jilibia of Mali. The first leg will hold between September the 19th and the 21st, while the second between September the 26th and the 28th. Liverpool boss Arne Slot believes victory in the Community Shield clash against Crystal Palace could set up Premier League champions for another successful season. Having captured the 20th top flight in his title first campaign at the helm of affairs, Liverpool faces FA Cup winners Crystal Palace at Wembley Stadium in English football traditional curtain raiser on Sunday. Liverpool have brought in some top fresh legs in a spending spree that has topped $535 million. Amid the squad overhaul, Slot is welcoming the chance to start the new season with Liverpool's 17th Community Shield.
Normally you have to play numerous games before you can win something. If it's the League Cup, FA Cup, let alone Premier League or Champions League, normally you win something in the end of the season. And now we have a chance to win something in the beginning of the season. Unfortunately, we face a very good Crystal Palace that have been very difficult to win against for us, because we played 1-1 against them in the last game of the season, and they showed in the last final and in the semi-final, by the way, as well, how hard it is to win a one-off game of them. So I think most of the players that they have are still there. So yeah, even more reason to know what a difficult team it is to play against.
Meanwhile, Crystal Palace manager Oliver Glasner has described leading the South London club out at Wembley as the greatest honour as the Eagles gear up for tomorrow's showdown. Oliver masterminded Crystal Palace's victory over Premier League rivals Manchester City in the FA Cup final in May as they won their first ever major trophy, a milestone moment for the club. However, the 50-year-old Austrian insisted his team are looking forward, not backwards, with a chance to add yet another silverware to the cabinet on Sunday.
A chance to win a trophy, and it's a chance to compete with the champion, and we want to show our personality again. We want to show how we play. We want to show that we are able to compete with every single team, and this is how we prepared in the last couple of weeks. And players again give me confidence, and I think in the last game at Liverpool we could see how the game could happen, how the game could be. Yeah, so really looking forward in the best possible way.
And on the international scene now, U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance and UK Foreign Secretary David Lammy have hosted a meeting of security officials near London to discuss the war in Ukraine. The talks are said to have been called at the request of the United States. The pair were joined by Ukrainian officials and European national security advisors, with Mr. Lammy saying the UK support for Ukraine remains solid as they continue working towards a just and lasting solution. It comes as Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky stressed that he will make no territorial concessions to Russia ahead of a summit between U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin. Mexico has said the United States military would not be entering its territory following reports that President Donald Trump had directed the Pentagon to target Latin American drug cartels. It had been reported recently that Mr. Trump had secretly signed a directive to begin using military force on foreign soil. In a statement, the White House did not address the directive, but said that Mr. Trump's top priority is protecting the homeland. The reported directive appears to follow an executive order signed by President Trump earlier this year, formally designating 8 drug cartels as terrorist entities, 6 of which are Mexican. And the main news again. The governor of Benue State, Bala Mohammed, has extended an olive branch to former LP presidential candidate Peter Obi, asked him to return to the PDP in order to form a united front to oust the APC come 2027. And that's the news at 10 tonight. I'm Melinda Kilami on behalf of the team. Good night.